The following video was captured, recorded, and composed in Linux. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hey there, fellers. My name is Edgardo, but you can call me Golden Sin. Today, we're talking about gaming in Linux in the year of our Lord, 2025. With Microsoft ending support for Windows 10 at the tail end of this year and pushing everyone to get on Windows 11, us gamers are faced with a fork in the road. We can let Microsoft lead us into their co-pilot revolution, or we can go full open source and jump over to Linux. To be honest, the majority of gamers out there won't really notice or even know what's going on and just move on to Windows 11 if they are not already on it. Me, on the other hand, the nerd in me, has decided to go rogue and jump into Linux. Not just any Linux, Arch Linux. Well, not full-on vanilla Arch, by the way, but a distro based on Arch. Folks, we're talking about CachyOS, a new competitor in the Linux gaming distro realm. To be fair, CachyOS has been around for over a year, but has planted its foot squarely in the middle with the big guys like Bazite and Nobara and Manjaro, and has made a name for itself. I've chose CachyOS because it's based on Arch, and even though Arch has a pretty simple installer script, this goes beyond and sets you up way better than you can do it yourself, especially noobs. Now, I'm not exactly a noob, but I'm not exactly an expert neither. I'm not dual booting, meaning I don't have Linux and Windows installed on the same PC to switch back and forth. No, I didn't just dip my toe in, I took the fucking plunge and wiped Windows off of all my drives and went full Linux. It's been a few weeks now, and I'm here to go over my experience to help you understand the pros and the cons of switching to Linux as a gamer and a content creator. Let's get into it. What is a Linux gaming distro? It's a basic installation of Linux, but with all the added dependencies and applications needed to meet your gaming needs right out of the box. It will usually include Steam, Lutris, Heroic Games Launcher, Wine, and its iterations and dependencies, plus other helpful apps or flat packs if required. Once installed, you can easily log into your Steam and other launchers, and once you flip the right switches, you're good to go. So is that it? Is that all? Yes, but actually no, not really. You see, when you first launch Steam, you have to head over to the settings menu and click on compatibility. From there, you click the box and it'll prompt you to restart Steam. Sounds easy, right? It really is that easy. But you need to know if your game works using Steam's compatibility layer known as Proton. You should head over to ProtonDB to search your game and see what the folks over there are saying. More than likely it's gonna work. But what about multiplayer or online games that have anti-cheat? Well, head on over to areweanticheatyet.com to check it out. Scroll through the list and have a look-see. The big titles: Call of Duty, Fortnite, Valorant, PUBG, Destiny 2, Apex Legends are not supported. Some legacy games like Call of Duty work from the oldest games all the way up to Infinite Warfare. After that, you're assed out. But since Black Ops 2 is still the GOAT to me, I'm in the clear. No problems there. Alright, cool. So we got some of the gaming things out of the way. But what about those other launchers like Epic Games Store, GOG, EA, and Ubisoft Connect? Well, Heroic Games Launcher supports Epic, GOG, and Amazon, while Lutris handles EA and Ubisoft Connect. Technically, any game you have on there should work. With some exceptions, very little intervention is required. Every now and then you might run into an issue, but it's nothing that can't be solved with a quick Google search. I ran into an issue where a game I got off of Humble Choice from Humble Bundle didn't want to install due to some Microsoft.NET 3.5 SP1. No matter what I tried, I couldn't get it to work, so I just gave up. Getting Battlefield 4 to work with the updated Punk Buster anti-cheat was a bit of a headache as well, but I got it to work, and it's a hit or miss here and there. After spending some time understanding what works and what doesn't, and why or why not, it changes the way I approach a game installation. Steam has not given me much issues as opposed to games from other launchers. I've already owned Battlefield 4 on EA for over a decade, but it went on sale on Steam last week for $1.99 Premium Edition, so I just bought it from there so I didn't have to fiddle around with this launcher nonsense. Now it just works. I still had to do a little workaround to get Punkbuster updated and working, but it works like magic now. What about game performance, my brother? It's great. I have not felt a dip in performance at all. I play, record, have other things in the background running like Spotify or OBS or a GPU screen recorder with no issues. My 8-bit Dell Ultimate 2.4 GHz controller works. I have not tried my PS5 controller because, why? Mouse and keyboard work. My various microphones work. Headset works. Multiple displays work. RGBs work. It all works, brother. It all just works. What about content creation? Now here's where things get a little sticky. Pause. OBS works, but depending on your GPU, you might be limited to what options are available to you. I run an all AMD build, so your results may vary. I can use my GPU to record in OBS, but that format is not compatible with DaVinci Resolve, my main editor of choice. DaVinci Resolve has its own issues on Linux, and getting it to work was a struggle. Once I did get it to run, I was disappointed to find out H.264 and H.265 were not supported in the free editions. Everything I recorded in OBS or Shadowplay just did not work. It took me a while to figure out that I had to convert my recordings to AV1 video and Opus audio. That took a while, but now I got it down to a science. Okay? Video editing out of the way. Audio. In Windows, I use Logitech G Hub software to add an excellent profile with filters and all that jazz applied so I can just record in Audacity with no editing required. Guess what? There's no Logitech G Hub for Linux, so I had to find a workaround. Takes a little bit more time, but I can get my audio the way it's supposed to be. Slight inconvenience, but I'm trying to maintain a quality standard here. Theoretically, I can record my audio raw in Audacity in Linux and fix it up using DaVinci Resolve Fairlight. But I like an automatic approach with filters already set up for me. You know, I'm fucking lazy. Okay? Video and audio editing out of the way, what's left? Image editors. I never really used Adobe Photoshop or Illustrator or Affinity Photo or anything like that. You can use GIMP on Linux. Honestly, I use Canva. Before you get your pitchforks out, hear me out. It's simple, it's free, and it works for me, brother. That's it. But Golden, what about the cons? Yes, the cons. The real reason you're here. Okay, there are a few, not gonna lie. Mostly related to some software that I became reliant on in Windows. DaVinci Resolve in Linux is crippled compared to the Windows version. It has to do with some licensing shit on the Linux side when it comes to the codecs or something, but it is what it is. The workaround to get some games and apps to work can get annoying after a while, and feeling like I'm leaving money on the table behind when I switch to Linux, it bothers me, but just a little bit. Just a little bit. I spent $70 plus tax on the latest Call of Duty, and I can't play it anymore since being on Linux. But as I've said before, I have left that in my past, and I don't want to go back to any title after Black Ops 3. In my opinion, the last good Call of Duty before it went straight down the fucking drain. Now, I'm a guy who likes bleeding edge content, so there's always updates available every single day I log into my PC, so that's kind of annoying, yet satisfying at the same time. You know what I mean? Some software that I used on the regular, I had to find alternatives to. I had to get used to a new workflow. That took some time, and I'm still not there yet. Theming, or ricing as it's known in the Linux community, is a time-consuming process, but worth it in the end for your desktop and your entire layout to look perfect, or at least the way you want it to look. Figuring out why things don't work can be frustrating, and I was almost ready to give up sometimes, but some Discord servers were a lifesaver in some situations. I have some Elgato hardware that I couldn't get to work, but it wasn't a deal breaker since I don't use it that much. My Elgato Facecam works. My Elgato Keylight Air works. My HD60 Pro did not work, but I didn't use it as much as I thought I would. Sometimes games or apps will open in a second monitor for some reason, and getting it to my main monitor is a pain. Sometimes my mouse cursor doesn't stay in the game window, and that could be a pain in my kashkas. Like if you're playing an FPS and you're swinging your mouse around, it's already outside of the frame of the game, and then you lose place in the game. It gets annoying, but I figured it out. It's called game mode, by the way. It's something you can get into later. Also, because I'm on the bleeding edge of Linux, I blindly just update everything as soon as I get a notification an update is available, and that can break stuff. Some of my GNOME extensions broke after GNOME 48 got pushed to my distro, and I updated right away. Now I have to wait for the developers of those extensions to update those things. It's the small things that can get annoying, but none of it has been a deal breaker for me. I guess at the end of the day, my brother, it's up to you what you can tolerate not working your way. My fallback is a Windows 11 VM virtual machine. I only use it to record audio and send it back to my main machine when it's nice and clean. Once I figure out a better audio solution in Linux, or at least learn how to clean up raw audio in Linux, I won't need that VM anymore. I'm only using it for one app. So brother, in conclusion, you gotta make your own conclusions. You have to weigh out the pros and cons of this Linux shit. I can't hold your hand throughout this journey, but Google and YouTube can help you each step of the way. Right now, Steam users are actually made up of the majority of Windows 10 users, more than Windows 11 and way more than Linux users. But with the support Valve has been giving the Linux community, we can get there. I see in a few years there's going to be a big push for developers to stop ignoring the growing Linux user base and start implementing more support for us. Kernel level anti-cheat might not change yet, but with last year's CrowdStrike fiasco, developers are giving it a second thought. We just gotta wait and see, but I wanted to be ready beforehand. Think of me as like a doomsday prepper just with computers. Now brother, I have seen that an official build of SteamOS has been made available for third-party handhelds, but there seems to be issues with the Ally X, so I'm holding off until they are ironed out. But once it is, I'll make a video on it. Until then, brother, like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And I'll catch you on the flip side. Peace.